everybody, and welcome back to the Next Level Podcast with Dr. Leslie. I am your host, Dr. Leslie. It is amazing. Life is amazing. God, we are manifesting like mofos over here. It is all about creation. I don't even manifest anymore, Lana. I just create. I just create. When you step from being in this three-dimensional world of trying and being motivated, like people try to, they're motivated to achieve because they're trying to avoid something. Going to personal development, which is like really, I'm broken, I need to be fixed. Self-mastery is about, yes, understanding all of those tools, but then you shift out of the manifestation process into just sheer creation, where the things that you need and want happen right before you need them. And it's just when you know how the laws of the universe and the laws of the mind and the laws of your body work, shit just happens. And that's where I'm at. And this isn't even fluffy. This is actual physics, what I'm talking about. So life is so good. I am so blessed. And it gives me so much joy to be able to share my wisdom with other people and help them be better manifestors and then creators and masters of their life. So I am so delighted every day to be here and to bring another episode to you guys and share all of the amazing knowledge and wisdom that I have. So today is going to be another Q&A episode. So an in-office with Dr. Leslie. We've got some amazing questions Lana has for me from our fans, guests, friends, all of the things.
Yes.
And let's go. Let's shoot.
We're doing the first question. Okay, let's get right into it. All right.
Right into it.
I got the first question from one of your fans said, what is a healthy way to handle setbacks and challenges on your path to a personal mastery?
I love it. Okay. Excuse me. The best way, firstly, people get really stuck in the I did something wrong, I'm broken kind of mindset. And it's okay to feel like you have to improve if you're still at that place where you feel there are some hangups. So first is really don't shit on yourself. Don't get upset. Don't be regretful. Don't get mad. Just understand that you are a human being. You're here to learn. You're here to master yourself and move on. So the first thing is don't get all pissed off at yourself, because that is going to keep you stuck. It's going to get you angry and you will not move. And actually, it not only stagnates you, it can actually make you bitter and contract. Just because we evolve doesn't mean we evolve forward. That's the other thing about self-evolution. We can evolve in not the greatest of ways. So that's like the very, very first thing. The second thing is, we talked a little bit in the last episode about, my remap process, the reflection, emotional conditioning, mental deconditioning, the action, and the progress checking. So I would definitely want somebody to, I guess, have a good self-awareness piece where they can step back and just kind of tune inwards and figure out, where they're at, where they want to go, and have a process, whatever that looks like. The one that I use and created is, been very helpful, and there's sub-steps and all of that. But it's really about that self-awareness. Is that sufficient?
I think so, yeah.
Ask the question again. I just want to make sure I got all the pieces.
It said, how do you handle, what is a healthy way to handle the setbacks?
So in terms of, I want to, give much more of a particular strategy. So I really find that, on my journey and the journeys of people that I've coached and sort of witnessed and helped, is really, there's multiple. I think setbacks, having a really strong mindset about this is serving me every single time.
Yes.
Because this fucked me up. Okay, when I was in this negative, pessimistic mindset where I was like, fuck God, this is stupid, I'm doing this, and God is against me, and I'm trying, and blah, blah, blah. And I got into that sort of spiral of negativity and pain, and I really just locked myself in for sometimes weeks at a time, spinning my wheels on the fucking hamster wheel. So really know this. Really know that everything that is happening to you is serving you to go forward and reach your goal. Period. Nothing is to hurt you. Even if you believe in karma and all of this stuff, you are not here to be in pain. Even if it's painful, it is meant to serve you to get to the next level. Period. So really, 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 really know that. And a tool to do that is to sit with your belief systems and figure out what it is that's keeping you from believing that. Write it out. I'm choosing to believe X, Y, and Z because it is serving me to blank. Own that. As soon as you start owning that, okay, I choose to believe that mistakes are meant to hurt me and keep me limited and whatever, you're going to realize that you're kind of being a victim and a dumbass. And then you give yourself an opportunity to change it and go, okay, what do I prefer? I prefer to believe that, yes, everything is serving me. Because remember, everything is about perception. I choose to believe that all of these mistakes, all this shit that I'm going through is serving me to get to where I want to be. Right. So when you have a clear goal, you have a clear intention, I see this, I want this, I'm going there, the universe responds. You are God. This is all just a matrix game that's reflecting back to you what you're intending. So you put in a wish or an intention, the universe, the energy that you are, it's not even, spiritual. This is just physics, shows back to you what it is you need to learn, overcome, or do, or whatever, the inspiration to then get to where you want to be. So everything is serving you. Take it as that. So your mindset around those things, that strategy of owning your beliefs, changing your beliefs, is a fundamental self-mastery tool and will get you so many places by just understanding that.
You know, what's funny is that it was actually on your podcast where I learned it. There was a gentleman that was on your podcast. I don't remember his name, but he was the one who said that everything happens for a reason. Like everything happens. What was it that he said?
Yeah, I know. Dan Holtz. He said everything goes the way it's supposed to go.
There you go.
And I was like, I hated when he said that because yes and no. I mean, everything is serving you to get to where you need to be.
And because the way that I kind of took what you said just now is like everything's gonna serve you where you're supposed to be. Meaning, even if it's bad in that time to you, even though you think like, oh my God, I didn't get the job or something, it's just because something better is out there waiting for you.
Yeah, I was indicted and have a felony because of this, because of some fucking guy that I was in an abusive relationship with that I didn't know. What the fuck was happening? I was this naive little Goldilocks Canadian. Oh, everything's so fine. And people are not fine. And I paid a huge price sleeping on couches for a year and a half and like reputation ruined. And I was ashamed and embarrassed. I'm like, how could I be so stupid? And I am so fucking grateful for that hardship because now I get what I needed to get to build my empire.
Right.
And I'm doing it. In the moment, I had a bottle of pills in my fucking hands. And I'm like, oh, I'm checking out.
Right.
I never took them, but I contemplated in that stillness. I had this sort of divine wisdom come to me and say, no, there's a better way. You don't have to do this. Thank God I listened. Thank God I knew how to meditate and get quiet because people, they don't hear that voice and then they're done. They check out.
Right.
So, trust me, really trust me. I have not lived a cushy life. Yes, I have a doctoral degree. Yes, I've taken care of myself, but it has not been without an enormous amount of pain and struggle. And I'm sharing this because I don't want you to have pain and struggle. Learn from my stupidity, learn from my mistakes, take my self-mastery tools and integrate them seamlessly so you can just evolve gracefully. I don't want people to have to suffer the way I did. So, and this is what is such a beautiful gift of my journey because I went to the bottom And I could have copped out many times, Lana. We've had this conversation. I could have shacked up with so many rich guys. I could have had all the things. I didn't because it wasn't my integrity.
Right.
I knew I had to do this the hard way. And even when I, had people want to help me and I wanted to take the help, or, I was enticed, or, it still was not, it was not authentic, right? We have to be authentic. And my journey was to do things the hard way, to learn these critical tools.
Right.
So I can share them with you from the fucking streets, from the hardcore lesson learning. And now my anxiety, I don't have anxiety anymore. When you face the federal government and they want to put you away for 5 years and you conquer that shit, without family support, without being able to leave the country, being completely isolated, and during the heavy part of the pandemic, you kind of get some fucking balls and you go, okay, I guess there's nothing to fear when you face every one of your fucking fears.
Right.
You want to cure anxiety. Well, there's a lot of, herbs that can help stabilize the brain. But when you face your fears, you kind of come out the other side going, oh, I really can do life. I really do have my own back and I can make shit happen in life. Things might still happen. You might make mistakes, which I don't really believe in mistakes. I think it's all lesson learning. But there's so much to be gained from having these encounters, but really, really knowing it. And I didn't learn this till further down in my journey, my pain and struggle, that everything truly is serving me. In the moment, you don't want to believe it. It sucks.
Right.
My phones are tapped and people are following me and I'm facing 5 years for shit I didn't have any fucking clue what was going on, but people wanted that. I was like, there's no way out. This fucking sucks. What did I do to deserve this? Yeah. What karma did I create? In hindsight, whether karma existed or not, or past life, it doesn't even matter. Mm-hmm. All that you need to know is it's serving you. Focus on what do I need to learn in this moment, do that and move forward. The cause, the reason means nothing. Don't even get your mind wrapped around that.
What exactly happened with your case? Because I don't think you've ever told me.
Oh, is this the first time you've heard about it?
I've heard of it, but I never knew what happened.
Oh.
Yeah.
So, okay, circle around. It's like my 1 year anniversary. Might as well circle back around to it.
It's only been a year?
No, since I went on record sharing about it, because that's when I felt comfortable talking about it and wanting to help people. It was terrifying. So, okay, we've got some time. So back in 2016, when I left my husband, I had my 2 little kids. Mm-hmm. My parents didn't really understand. I love them. We have a great relationship now, but they didn't really understand me leaving my ex-husband. And so I was sort of estranged from them.
Okay.
So I went to work in this psychiatric outpatient psych facility where I was doing my doctor of nursing practice at the time. Mm-hmm. So I was all about innovation. How can I help these homeless, very mentally ill people get off their pain medications and stop abusing the medications, helping them get better, and also bringing primary care to this place. I was thinking all innovatively, right? Well, I started dating one of the nurse practitioners. He has a doctoral degree in psychology. At the practice, just kind of seeing him, whatever. I was trying to get through this horrible divorce with my ex-husband. God love him. We're in wonderful terms now, but he was having a difficult time with it, and so he wasn't very nice at the time.
I get it. Yeah.
I get it. I get it. The time it was very difficult. And I didn't have any friends because all my friends were his friends, and I was going to school and raising my babies and working, so I didn't have a social life of my own.
Okay, yeah.
All my family's in Canada and his family, right? We were in this, the U.S. by ourselves, so I was basically on my own when I had left my husband, dating this guy, kind of. And a few months in, I was, just sharing with him one day about how I wanted to get people off their pain medications. I'm looking for innovative solutions. And he goes, oh, I have somebody for you. Brings me this compound pharmacist. So compound pharmacists, they're not like regular pharmacists. They make special formulations of certain medications, and they can bill the insurance, and usually at a higher rate because they're specially made in-house usually. So I meet this guy, and he's like, oh, yeah, you can do this lidocaine cream on the people's back. Then you can take them off their pain medications. You can document it. I'll deliver all the meds to them. You can do modafinil, which is a medication that you can use to help modulate the mood. It'll complement your depressed and bipolar patients. And I was like, this is brilliant.
Yeah.
You're going to deliver to my homeless patients. This gets them off their pain meds. Because at that time, the laws had changed, and we had to check the PMP, which is like this database for controlled substances every time. And if you didn't check it, or if your patient had like a benzodiazepine, an upper, a downer, and a stimulant or whatever, then the pharmacist would call you.
Yeah.
So I'm like, okay, I need to get these people off pain meds or try something, because I wanted to write more papers and do more research.
Yeah.
Like I was in nerd mode, right? Like total DNP
Per usual.
nerd mode. Per usual. It's who I am, which is why I got a DNP, like hello, and why I have this empire I'm building and self-mastery. So I was like, oh my God, this is brilliant. I can't believe it. Wonderful. Check, whatever you need, done. So I was going along, doing my things for a couple of months. And then all of a sudden, it would be on a Friday, a couple of Fridays, there'd be an envelope of money on my desk. What the fuck is this? Like a couple $100, $400 here, $200 there. It's like, so I approach the gentleman that I was dating, and because he was always there on Friday, I'm like, what is this? And he's like, oh, honey, it's just for you. You're not getting any support from your ex. Your family isn't around. Like, it's just a gift. You know, take your kids to Disneyland, you know, whatever. Pay your bills for your attorney's fees. Like, he was making it like it was a gift to me. What the fuck am I supposed to do? I was little Canadian, didn't know anything about it. I didn't know Cubans were a thing. And that whole, I'm kidding. I'm not discriminating. But, you know, there's some cultural things. And I didn't know these schemes. I didn't know anything about anything. Like, I thought it was weird. I did well. Money-wise, I was doing well. I'm like, okay, what am I supposed to do? There's an envelope and he's there. And I'm like, I'm not going to leave it. It was weird. So I took it.
I took it because it's money. What the fuck
It's money.
you mean?
It's an envelope. Right. I was just like, okay, this is weird. I don't need it. But okay, thanks. Well,
especially if your guy's giving it to you, you're like, dang, like now you find it sweet.
Yeah. I thought it was genuine.
It.
At the time, I didn't think it. I was like, okay, it's fine. I mean, it was kind of weird because I didn't need the money, but and I'm like, that wasn't the nature of our relationship. I'm like, you're a doctor, I'm a doctor. Like, I don't need your help, but okay, sweet, I guess. So I'm like, whatever. I took it. And then like a couple of months, like 2 months later, I think maybe 6 weeks later, my boss comes to me and he sits down and he says, are you in a kickback scheme? Because I went to the insurance and I got this report that you guys are billing like $1.5 million on these prescriptions. I'm like, what are you talking about? No. So I go to the guy I was dating and I'm like, you know, I was mad because I'm like, I'm going to lose my job. Blah, 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 blah. And he's like, yep. And you are getting money. And if you say anything or if you leave me, try me. What will happen to your kids? What will happen to you? Swear to fucking God. So the light switch turned and this guy trapped me into this whole scheme. So
what is it called? What scheme?
Well, this was a kickback scheme because he was he was in cahoots with the compound pharmacist. The compound pharmacist was billing the insurance like 2 years worth, not even what my prescription wrote. My prescriptions wrote 3 months.
Yeah.
He was billing millions of dollars. They billed like $6 million in like a 6-month period of time or something stupid. They were doing other ridiculous stuff. I was like an outlier. I was pulled in because of them. But so they were in this scheme where the pharmacist would bill and give him money for writing the prescriptions. And then he was giving me money because I was writing prescriptions, but I didn't know what the fuck was going on. So he was going behind my back, getting money, probably taking a shit ton more of a cut than he was giving me. I mean, not that I knew, but I mean, so he like trapped me. He's like, yep. So you better keep going because if you tell anybody. So it took me 2-3 months before I could safely leave to find new employment and leave the relationship. So I brought down my prescribing because I knew what was going on at that point. But I was trying to leave. I didn't know. I had no family support. I had no friend support. I was fighting my ex. The last thing I was going to do was report because I didn't know this fucking guy. I've never been in an abusive relationship or threatened. And I sure as fuck did not want to report it to anyone because I didn't want to compromise my
Right.
license or get kicked out or the
go to
country.
jail,
So
prison.
my mistake was to keep my mouth shut. I was protecting myself and my kids. I thought I never went to authorities like police. That whole thing freaks me out. Police,
Yeah.
especially with my license, I'm like, it's my livelihood. So I kept my mouth shut. I thought I was doing the right thing. And then a year goes by and the feds knock on my door and I'm arrested. Indicted
Shut the
on
fuck up.
I think
Indicted.
indicted on by a grand jury apparently they do the whole thing based off of whatever evidence the government presented. And I think it was 4 charges of Medicare Medicaid fraud and 4 conspiracy to commit Medicare. Yeah.
Shut the fuck
So
up.
I was looking at 5 years in prison. Yeah. So obviously because I
For
was
those who can't see me off camera, my chin is at the
To her
ground.
ankles,
Like
yeah.
literally.
So for 2.5 years, I fought this. So of course, I can't get into what I experienced in the system too much, but there were some lot of not nice things that I was subjected to that ruined my reputation. Things
I
on
bet.
websites that are not accurate that I cannot change because if I do, so my podcast is one of the things that I wanted to start to get my version of the story out because there was so much smut and incorrect information about me.
course.
People thought I was the NP that went away to prison for 6 years. No, that guy's still sitting in there for another 2. He's there for 8. You know, and my reputation was ruined. For 2.5 years, I struggled raising my kids. No one would hire me, so I started my own little practice. It was very hard. I was barely making ends meet. Some months I didn't, and
Yeah.
you know. So
Did you get out of the case? Did it get dropped?
no,
What
I have a
happened?
felony. I have a federal felony because of it. So all of the charges were dropped because they saw. So I was forced to delete text messages between me and this gentleman. But I had WhatsApp messages from when I was in Cancun or somewhere with my brother where he threatened me and he was very bipolar appearing. Those saved my ass because they showed the abuse and the threats and what I was subject to. If I didn't have that, my ass would be in prison right now.
Oh my God.
So 2.5 years later, 3 U.S. prosecutors later, I finally find one who's like, dude, yeah, we know. And I was holding out. I'm like, I will fucking go to court then. I will risk it because I'm not going to go to prison when I didn't know what was going on. Yes, I admitted when I didn't know you're not supposed to talk to the people when they take you to downtown, right? So I told them, I mean, I knew after the fact, but I was being threatened.
Yeah.
I didn't know it. So because I admitted and, I passively participated to save my life, I ended up with a illegal healthcare remuneration felony, which is a federal charge. So as a non-U.S. citizen, because I chose not to get my citizenship, there's some limitations getting employment and all those things at that time. And it was all during the pandemic. It all resolved in 2020. Bad timing. I mean, perfect timing, but bad timing for how I had perceived it at the time. But, I went through so much hardship. I got into so much debt, because I was
I bet.
trying to raise my kids, and sleeping on couches. I was trying to downsize and unemployment wasn't enough. And it's like, how do I live? I was so embarrassed, ashamed. I surrendered all my nursing licenses because I'm like, I don't trust anybody and I don't trust myself.
Yeah.
So I let it all go. And I said, I can't. Like, maybe I just have to be a coach. Maybe I don't know what I'm going to do. I was doing spiritual coaching for a while and life coaching for a while. And, modestly, people didn't really have a lot of money over the pandemic, but now I'm back with my licenses and I'm back, rebuilding my life and my brand. So that's the story. I mean, and the thing is, I don't even see my felony as a limit anymore because it's not.
I was gonna say, like, what positive did you take out of it? Like, why do you think it happened?
It's so funny because before my case even settled, and I was in my meditation because I was going through this very intense spiritual awakening, if you will, where I was really just coming more into my authentic self and figuring out who I am. And, when you go through, some people call it the dark night of the soul. It doesn't really matter, what you call it, but it was, these kind of wake you up to who you are and what you're meant to do. And sort of greater purpose in life and meaning.
Right.
In my meditation once, I remember actually feeling a little bit excited about having a felony because there was this part of me that knew I needed it in order to push myself forward. If I would not have had a felony, and I don't have one now, I would not have started my podcast. I wouldn't become a speaker. I wouldn't be writing my book. I wouldn't be doing all of these other expressive things.
Well, to be fair, I don't think you would have done, like, you would have been working for somebody instead of.
That's exactly it. I would not have. I love stability and security. That's how I was raised.
Right.
There's no fucking way that I would be doing what I'm doing now if I wouldn't have had a felony. Because I'd be working for the man, doing the same old. I would have gotten in. It would have been the same thing. It was my higher self or God or whoever you believe in. It was my assurance policy that you will not fucking fall back into the old way of living. I knew when I was 5, Lana, that I was going to do big things. I was going to heal the world. I was going to cure the world of brain dysfunction. I thought it was going to be as a surgeon. No, now I see what it is for.
Oh.
I knew, and I asked since I was a kid, since as long as I can remember, I would pray or I'd speak to whoever, in the ethers and, I want to, help me reach my highest potential. I want the most amazing life. I want to exceed anything that I could ever imagine possible for myself. Okay, those are powerful fucking words. And let me tell you, whoever's out there delivered, and they destroyed my life so I could rebuild it to be that person.
Right.
So my felony has served me. It's pushed me and it was kicking and screaming. Let me tell you, it was not easy. I was just like so mad and so angry. Like, if I didn't have this, then I wouldn't be struggling, blah, blah, blah. But it's exactly what I needed. I needed to have no way back.
Yeah.
Couldn't get a fucking apartment, couldn't get a goddamn job. I had to sleep on a fucking couch and realize, bitch, get your shit together.
Right. Right.
You're not shacking up with anyone. You consider that fucking didn't work. That lasted all of 2 days. And you're like, dude, I can't. No. Can't sell out. Okay. Back on the couch. Okay, well, I can't get a regular job. What am I going to work at Starbucks? Oh, my best offer was working at Goodwill.
No.
Because I had to do 80 hours of community service. I was sentenced to 3 years of supervision, but I got off after 1 because they're like, dude, you're low maintenance. You shouldn't even be here.
Oh.
We know why you're here. Like, you're not the problem. Just, they were very supportive. But the most humiliating and humbling thing was doing 80 hours of community service at Goodwill. That shit is hard work, okay? And I was offered jobs there, and I'm like, is this what I've reduced to? I mean, I love Goodwill. I love them.
I love Goodwill.
But I shop there. I mean, it's
shop
cool.
there too. I fucking love Goodwill.
But having a
not a place you
doctoral
wanna
degree
work.
and all the things, and it's like,
Yeah.
for me to what I worked for to be reduced down.
Yeah. Very humbling.
It was so fucking humbling.
Yeah.
It was so fucking humbling. It's like, what are my options? Starbucks, Macy's, like,
Shit.
and I was willing to do that, but it was like as soon as I surrendered to that, and I really said, Leslie, this is what your fucking stupidity, your naivety, your and I say that not in judgment. I mean, I know it sounds judgmental, but really it was like, this is what your choice was. This is what you brought to yourself. You don't have to do this. If you have to as part of your learning, okay, but I took my lesson of humility. Yeah. And when I internalized that and I absorbed it, it's like, check mark, the lesson is learned, then doors started to open.
Which is crazy because it's like you did it yourself and you were like forced to do it yourself, but then you like proved to yourself that you could do it yourself.
And that's it.
And just took a low.
Yeah. And it was very scary for me to believe and back myself.
Can I ask you a question?
Sure.
What in your personal opinion, what felt better? Finishing your college degree and becoming a doctor, or becoming a doctor, dropping yourself down to Goodwill, and then getting yourself back up to a podcast?
So much this.
Right?
Hitting rock bottom and building myself up on my own.
I love that.
100,000% over. Mm-hmm. I mean, my doctoral degree, all my education, and it's funny you say that because I've thought about this. I was told what to do in my education. When you're living your own life and you have to back yourself and there's no one telling you what to do or how to do it and you got to figure it out yourself, there's no course in living your life authentically.
Right.
There's no one saying, oh, this is what you need to learn, study it, and get this assignment done. That shit is fucking easy compared to backing yourself and be like, okay, it's me in this world. What do I need to do today? That is terrifying. I'm academic. I was not street smart at all. Zero street smart. I mean, with my children, those kids are going to, they have serious street smarts coming from me, and their father is very, very street smart. So they're going to be really set, but also, you know, with the academic piece. But people definitely need to be taking they need very, very wise people in their life to be very real with them about how life works and how to navigate. They need their academics for some basic academics at least, like marketing, sales, some general business at least, because if all shit falls apart and your boss, you know, you don't like working for someone, at least you know how to start your own business.
Yeah.
Those things I had none of.
Yeah.
I didn't have any street smarts. I knew nothing about business. I had academics, and that was sliced. I was reduced down to nothing.
Right. That's scary, but great.
Terrifying.
Terrifying.
Not scary. Fucking terrifying.
Yeah.
And someone with me who has obsessive compulsive disorder traits, it was for me to be here sharing with you all is literally, it's an anomaly. It doesn't exist. I was actually on I didn't know this until after, but my attorney kind of had me on suicide watch.
Oh.
Because he had other guys, men, not women, who killed themselves for way, way less things than I was facing.
Oh.
And I had a legit OCD trait. You know, it's not like a full-on mental illness, but I had, you know, some mental health challenges, these traits that were making me obsessive and making me worried. And I was getting these panic attacks. And I mean, I understood now why he would check on me, we would chat and do, because he was like making sure I was going to be okay.
Yeah.
So for me to be here on the other side, if I can do it, any one of you can. Because I literally have mental health challenges in my family. You know, I battled. I was very anxious for, you know, my brain wiring doesn't have the building blocks for neurotransmitters naturally. I don't have the same type of binding receptor capability as other people. So I take my herbs and my stack of supplements that make me able to function while, you know, have the brilliance that comes with also my brain wiring. So I've been able to mitigate the challenges of it and maximize the superpower of it. Yeah. But it took me to also go through all of that to recognize the degree of my brain wiring and to figure out also how to maximize it in this whole process. And now that's why mental health is such a important piece to me, because with my carnivore diet and the supplements and peptides and different things, it's like, holy shit, there's a way that we can legitimately substantially improve mental wellness and mental health issues. I'm not going to use the C word, because no one cures anything except Western medicine. But we can substantially make massive improvements in people's, you know, psychiatric and or just mental wellness through some very non-pharmaceutical, pharmacological mechanisms. So I'm so grateful for my journey and my challenge.
I know. It sounds like it really made you stronger at the end, for fuck sure.
A kind of strength that I knew I needed, and I guess kind of knew I had in me, but not to this degree.
Because that's what I was going to say too, is you faced a lot of fears that you didn't even know you feared. It's a lot of stuff that you're like, oh shit, I never even thought that I was going to be put in this position. And then you just made yourself, like you figured it the fuck out.
Nothing can touch me.
Go ahead, bitch.
I'm untouchable. Truly, with my journey, there isn't, health problems. I was physiologically destroyed. I was on the trajectory of cancer.
Shit.
I was working with a naturopath when I was raising my kids on my own during the indictment when my ex moved out of the city. You know, I was on a slippery slope health-wise, mentally fucked, you know, emotionally destroyed. Socially inept, right? I mean, employment, what was that? I mean, every domain of my life was just shattered, you know, legally, flying, you know,
Oh,
I
yeah,
mean,
I
it
didn't
was,
even think of
I
that.
was limited, not even being able to leave to see my family, knowing that if I would have left, I wouldn't have been able to come back ever. That's the other thing is, you know, the limitation of my felony being Canadian, not a citizen, many times since then, it's like, okay, maybe if I can't hack it, I'll just move to Canada. But the fucking thing is, I wouldn't necessarily be guaranteed to get back during that time.
Yeah.
So it's literally, if I chose to cop out, even go home,
You couldn't.
my kids are here, my ex is here, I wouldn't even be able to come back. That was even, you see,
That's
everything was
scary.
forcing me to stay here and figure out my fucking shit.
Yeah.
And I did.
It forced you not to run because a lot of people run from their issues and you couldn't.
I
wanted to.
Right, but that is the power of my intention, you see, and this is what I want you to understand. The power of my intention. Everything that I said, there is no compromise. When I had my physical ailments, I would pray, I don't want to feel this black hole feeling. I don't want to feel sick. And I found the solutions. I said, I want to live my highest, my best, most like unbelievable life, better than I could ever imagine. I want it, my highest potential for me and everyone involved. I would pray, I begged for it. You get what you ask for every time. And I got it. And I needed to learn a shit ton. They're like, you want that? Then you got to fucking hit the bottom, because this is what it takes for you to go there. Who you are, that's a 9-to-5er. Who you are is a 9-to-5er. You know, you want to reach the stars. We got to break you down, and you got to learn the skills that you need to be able to reach the stars. Right. So when they say be careful what you wish for. Be careful what you wish for. Be careful what you intend. You will get it. You are getting everything you ask for. If you are creating or manifesting some bullshit in your life, you did it. You asked for it. All you have to do is ask yourself, what do I need to learn to take me to my next level? That's the tool. That's the strategy from your very first question, Lana. It's like, never blame or deflect. I created this. Own it. I created this shit right now, whatever's happening, good and bad. Recognize it all. How is this teaching me? What do I need to learn to unlock my next level?
Right.
It is all serving you. Every single thing, every moment, everything. And it can turn out better than you can ever expect. And that's the other belief system people have to have. When shit goes down, it's okay, what do I need to learn? I'm sick and tired of learning. How about, and this is a belief, and this is what you attract. If you say, okay, this is a learning experience. All right, I see it. What is it? It's going to turn out better than I could even imagine.
Right.
You hold that intention, it absolutely will. And since I've really understood those things and ingrained those in my mind, emotion, physiology, oh my God, like it happens. Mm-hmm. It happens.
So what do you have to say to others who are felons who feel like it's something that is gonna keep them from, growing and progressing in life?
The fact that they believe it's a limitation is the limitation. They have to correct that right now.
Okay. That was golden. Hold on, let me write that down. Hold on.
Like 100%, you have to stop seeing your limitations as a limitation. They will only continue being a limitation as long as you allow them to be. The moment you learn what you need to learn from any limitation, the moment the limitation doesn't matter anymore. The moment I realized that I'm not defined by my felony, nor am I defined by being Dr. Leslie. Yes, I say I'm Dr. Leslie, but I also say, hey, I have a felony. They're equally defined as me, but they're equally not who I am. They're just fun things I get to label myself as.
I love you so much.
You know? I'm Dr. Leslie one day, I'm a felon another, whatever. I mean, they're all me, but they're also not me. You know? I'm a woman, but I'm also not, because I'm just having a female experience in this journey, So when you like, you know, it's so funny because there was a time when I'm like, well, I want to be Dr. Leslie. I don't want to be a felon. Well, why is being a doctor so great? Why are you putting so much more? It's not any more than just a label as a felon. And I was like, when I realized, I was like, oh, fuck, like I'm equally both. So I have to disconnect from both.
It's just a label.
I could choose one over the other, and I choose to use the Dr. Leslie for, you know, as my public figure and because it is credibility.
Right.
I also have credibility as a felon too. And I choose to utilize that and share. Like, I've been through shit, you know? I've been through real shit. That's street cred. That's credit in my profession, in my, you know, in the brand that I'm building, just as much as the doctor is. It's all about your twist and your perception of it. As soon as you stop seeing your obstacles as obstacles and say, okay, this might not tickle, but I have something to learn here. What is it that I need to learn to make this limit no longer a limit? Like they have Hope for Prisoners here in Vegas, right? And so they help people who are ex-cons who are, I don't even know what the right term is. I'm sorry if I offended anyone. I don't even know. But people who have been in prison and who are out re-entering get education certifications so they can do trade jobs. Yeah. And you can actually make some decent money.
Yeah.
You know, I couldn't see myself being a truck driver or woodworker or any of those things. Like I thought about it, but those are like really labor intensive and they're very men centric. And I just wasn't sure how comfortable I'd feel. Yeah. Otherwise I would have done that. Thankfully, I didn't have to go that far and the shifting in my my work. But I mean, the moment that you stop feeling sorry and you stop seeing limits as limits, they disappear. Yeah. They magically disappear. And then not only do they disappear, everyone, and I learned this, everyone loves an underdog story. I mean, most people. There are haters that will hate and they will deliberately try and hate. And they're evil. They just don't, they don't matter.
The haters too.
But people want to learn from people who've been through shit. It's inspiring because we all have our challenges and our shit. No one wants to learn from gurus who haven't had any life experience or have had any challenges. True. It's easy to peddle all this stuff sitting on the top of a fucking mountain in meditation. What does that have to do with me down here in the fucking trenches? You up there on your mountaintop levitating and telling me, oh, love is love and whatever. You know, you take that shit when I say be love, be your authentic self. These are the states of being that you need to be. I can tell you because when I had a fucking bottle of pills in my hands and life was continually falling apart, those moments are what saved me. Those are the moments that made me who I am. That shit is real. That stuff helps.
I love that. That was amazing. I don't even know if I have any other questions for you.
Is that a mic drop?
That was a motherfucking mic drop.
We got all into my shit today. But it's great because, you know, it's important. You know,
I genuinely loved this topic more than anything we had planned. This was great.
Yeah, good. I'm glad.
It was way more inspiring too, because I actually didn't know this, so it actually let me it's like an in-depth view of little Miss Dr. Leslie there. I didn't know that. I like that.
Yes, you didn't. My listeners from my first, I think I talked a little bit about it in season 1 at the very, very beginning, but I was also very uneasy about talking about it. Now, because I'm on the other end and I've talked about it so much and I've gone on record on other podcasts talking about it, and it's a fundamental piece of my brand. Yeah. I built my brand because of that. My felony is an integral part of who I've become. Without it, I can't shy away. And people were like, now that it's over, you don't have to talk about it. You don't have to have trust. It's not anyone's fucking business. It actually has to be. Because it is the whole reason that I've been forced to create my best life. I can't, just like we talked about the doctor versus the felon thing. I can't just say, I'm a doctor and everything is fine and blah, blah. No, that's what's given me, yes, some credential, but the felony has given me equally, if not more, because it literally was the major thing that pushed me. Otherwise, I would have reverted back to a life that wasn't authentic. And everyone who's suffering from any criminal background or any felony or any limitation that they're experiencing, I promise you, it is, don't see it as a limit. It sucks. It fucking sucks. I know. Trust me. I know. But don't see it as that. Find out what it is that it's trying to show you about becoming more authentically you. What do you really want to do? Who are you really? What are you really meant for? That's what it's trying to teach you. It's not to hurt you or to limit you. It's to help you be more of who you are. Allow it to show up for you, who you're supposed to be, who you truly are, and you do that. And follow the passion and the inspiration, not motivation, the inspiration that comes from that. And that is the magic. That's when, poof, the limit goes away. And your life just opens up in the most mind-blowing, unexpected, beautiful way. And that's really how life is supposed to be. And I experience that every single day. So hopefully you learned some of the fundamental tools today to help you, work through some of the belief systems that might be limiting you. You know that limits are not really limits. And hopefully my story inspired you to say, you know what, I got this. If she got this, I got this. All right? Doctorate or not, I was reduced to nothing. So again, if I can rise myself up and get to the next level from the absolute pits, I know you guys can too. All right. Thank you so much for listening, tuning in. I'll see you guys next time.